Hi, my name is Cynthia Runge. I'm a divorce mediator and a family and collaborative attorney with an office in Boston. My law firm is called Peridot Family Law. We take a holistic approach to resolving family law matters and disputes. The COVID-19 situation has impacted all of us, and anyone who is thinking about a divorce prior to the pandemic may certainly be in a situation now where they're clear that they're on a path forward for divorce. While it's true that the courts in Massachusetts are closed till at least June 1st, what can you do if you've decided that you need to get divorced, or if you're in the middle of a case that's stuck in the courts now? I'm going to talk about the top 3 ways to move your case forward through divorce during the pandemic. So depending upon your ability to communicate with your spouse, you may have one or more options available to you. Mediation is a voluntary and confidential process where the parties work with a trained facilitator who is the mediator. A lot of times that mediator may be also a family law attorney with lots of experience working in the courts. And that neutral is going to help the parties come up with a document called a separation agreement, which gets filed with the court as part of a joint petition. So the benefit of using mediation is that you can go as fast or as slow as you would like to, and it tends to be a lot less expensive because you're only dealing with one professional, and it also can be a lot less stressful than going through the courts. Although ultimately with any of these procedures you're going to have your agreement ultimately approved by a court, you can get all of these things in place and ready to go. And when the courts are ready, and my understanding or the word is that they will soon be trying to do days where they just handle all joint petitions to get some of them through the process, then you'll be ready to go. So mediation gives the parties the most control over the process. Anytime you go to court, you're always going to be in a situation where you don't have as much control. And mediation allows you to decide how you want to resolve your dispute. It's in my view, it is definitely the best option out of the 3. Well, what's the next best option? Well, depending on your circumstances, this might be the first option, but collaborative law is another procedure in family law matters that can really be beneficial. I mean, particularly if you have children. So how collaborative law works is the professionals that are involved have all been specially trained. The attorneys, they each represent a client, and you also retain a mental health professional. It's called a coach. That's a person with sort of more of a mental health background, and that person meets with each party, and they get real clear on what the goals are for the family to help them make sure they stay on track, to find out if there's any areas where they may need help communicating. Sometimes communication can shut down, but a trained professional can help the parties to move forward. So collaborative law can be a great way for the parties to be able to learn to co-parent, to maybe perhaps be friends after the process, but at a minimum learn to be cordial with one another so that for the best interest of their children. The third thing I wanted to talk about is limited assistance representation versus general representation. So limited assistance representation is a situation where you can retain a lawyer to help you with very specific things that you need help with. So for example, if you're mediating, you may want to retain an attorney to review that agreement from your perspective. You can do so under limited assistance representation, and you can clearly define what it is that you're hiring the lawyer to do. It could be that you want to hire a lawyer to help you prepare pleadings that you're going to file in court, or you may want someone to go to a telephonic hearing with you or a virtual hearing with you. Or you may decide that you need someone to be there sort of soup to nuts with you. You want someone to guide you through the process. And that's more of a general representation. And it's really important that you know who you're going to be most comfortable working with. So like any profession, there is a spectrum, and everyone has a different personality style, different work style. And so you really want to know what is your lawyer's approach going to be to how they're going to help you resolve your disputes. Some are more court-based or litigation-oriented, and others can be more resolution-oriented to help their clients get through the process in the best way possible. And that's where our firm really focuses our energy, trying to get our clients through the process the best way possible. Now, what happens if you have a situation and it doesn't feel like mediation or collaborative law or even working with someone who's resolution-oriented is the right fit? You may have an emergency situation. There are some cases where those top 3 ways I've just talked about, which I think are the best ways to go through a divorce if you have a say in it, but there are some cases that have to go to court. And they may require different steps. We're going to do a different video about those emergency situations and talk about some of the procedures that the court has put in place now because of the pandemic. And so we're going to leave that aside for the moment. But even under the best of circumstance, going through divorce can be a traumatic and difficult process. And certainly with the uncertainty of what's happening in our world now with COVID-19, the more control you have over your process and resolving your divorce in a way that feels right to you, the better you're going to feel, the better the process is going to be, a lot less stressful, it's going to be a lot less expensive. You can make this a lot easier on yourself and your family. It doesn't have to be like it is on TV, and it never is like it is on TV because it's not going to be over in 30 minutes or 60 minutes. With that said, my website discusses many of the modalities that I just explained: mediation, collaborative law, limited assistance representation, as well as full representation. But if you have any questions about family law matters, whether it's prenuptial agreements, postnuptial agreements, adoptions, guardianships, don't hesitate to contact our office. We're here to be a resource. We want to help you get through this process. So with that said, please take care of yourselves and your family, your kids during this difficult time. And thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.